Have you ever seen something so simple, yet it felt like it belonged in a quiet European village? Wood, stones, sunlight. That's all it takes to turn an ordinary wall into a warm, soulful piece of art. This isn't just storage. It's a way of slowing down, shaping nature with your hands, and building beauty one log at a time. Today, I'll show you rustic firewood wall ideas that look expensive, feel timeless, and can be recreated using materials you probably already have. No special tools. No fancy supplies. Just patience, texture, and a love for natural design. Welcome to Backyard Fortune. Here, we explore creative backyard builds, slow living aesthetics, and simple designs that bring warmth to your home. Ask anything in the comments, and if you try one of these, I'd be thrilled to see your version. Maybe to you I'm just another face on a screen. But behind this channel, there is a story. And a small family with a dream. Every subscription doesn't just grow a channel, it keeps a dream alive. Thank you for being here, and thank you for seeing us. One Pebble Glow Wall Frame. There are moments in a home when light feels like a quiet blessing. You pause, the morning still unfolding, and something simple suddenly feels sacred. Here, on a humble wooden wall, nature becomes a storyteller. Weathered branches form a frame that seems to whisper of forests and slow-moving seasons. Smooth river pebbles, each one shaped by time and water, gather into a gentle mandala. A circle within a circle, lit from behind by warm, golden light. It doesn't glow loudly. It glows like embers after dawn, like the first candle of a peaceful evening. A reminder that beauty doesn't rush. It arrives when the heart is still enough to see it. Look closer and you'll notice the way shadows fall, soft and real, and how tiny moss patches cling to the wood as if they chose this place to rest. Succulents sit patiently beneath, quiet little guardians of calm. They ask for so little, yet give so much freshness, so much life. Their presence grounds the scene, connecting earth to light, soil to sky. This is decor, yes, but it is also a feeling. A moment where simplicity finds grace. And if your hands itch with the urge to make one too, follow that spark. Gather fallen twigs from a morning walk, choosing pieces that speak with texture and character. Look for pebbles that feel good in your palm, cool, rounded, varied in tone. They don't need to match, nature rarely does. Let each stone sit where it fits, not where you force it. When you add the lights, think soft, not bright. A warm strand tucked behind the stones works wonders. Light is not the star here, it is the breath that brings the piece alive. For plants, choose small ones that thrive with gentle attention. Succulents, baby aloe, tiny jade cuttings. They will reward you for thinking in seasons, not moments. In a world that often asks us to want more, this kind of project teaches a gentler truth. Beauty grows when we slow down, touch what's real, and build with what we already have. And when you hang it, by a window, near herbs, beside sunlight that travels across the room each day, you'll notice something lovely. It won't just decorate your space. It will change how the light arrives, how the air feels, how you breathe when you stand in front of it. This is what happens when nature enters the home with kindness and intention. Not as a trend, but as a companion. Take your time. Let the branches guide you, the stones settle, the plants settle in. Let the light be gentle. And when you're done, step back. You didn't just make a decoration. You made a little pocket of peace. Something real. Something warm. Something that feels like it's been waiting for you all along. 2. Floating branch swing mini shelf. There's a quiet kind of joy in lifting plants just a little closer to the light. As though you're giving them a gentle nudge toward the sun, saying, "Here, stretch. Grow. Feel the warmth." This simple hanging shelf does exactly that. A sturdy fallen branch, rough with honest bark and dotted with moss, suspended by jute rope that holds history in its fibers. Below it, a smooth plank waits with patience, balancing a row of tiny terracotta pots. Each one cradling a small green life, delightfully different, yet gathered together like old friends on a lazy afternoon. In the stillness of morning, sunlight spills in from the window, pooling gently across the shelf. Dust dances slowly in the air. The plants glow a little brighter, leaves plump and curious. There's no rush here. Everything breathes easy. You don't need much to create a moment like this: a branch discovered on a walk, a length of rope strong enough to trust, and a piece of wood that feels good in your hands. Choose succulents or mini cacti if you love low-maintenance beauty, or mix textures with trailing varieties like stringer pearls to add movement and grace. The magic lives in the details. Let the knots be visible and strong. Leave the bark natural so the texture tells its story. Don't be afraid of tiny imperfections. They are signs of life, not flaws. And place your shelf near light that shifts through the day, so your plants can follow the sun the way wild ones do. If you're hanging it by a window, consider wrapping the rope around the branch more than once for stability, and tighten the knots carefully. A balanced shelf feels peaceful, both to the eye and to the touch. And when you water, go lightly. Let the soil dry between sips. Most small plants thrive on gentle care. There's beauty in letting everyday materials become something graceful and alive. A branch becomes a cradle. Soil becomes leaves. Sunlight becomes warmth you can feel on your skin. And slowly, without effort or noise, a corner of your home turns into a tiny floating garden, a place where nature rests at eye level, and you remember that growth can be simple and quiet and slow. Perhaps that's what makes projects like this special. They invite us to pause, to look, to breathe, and to create not just decor, but a soft reminder. Sometimes the most charming things in life are the ones we build with our own hands, using pieces the world has already offered us. Three. Pebble Tree of Life Wall Art. Some pieces don't simply decorate a space. They anchor it. They remind you of where life begins and how it grows. Here, sunlight spills across a pebble and twig tree, and suddenly a humble corner feels like a place where stories settle. Smooth stones rest like leaves in a quiet canopy, each one shaped by water and weather. Below, roots twist with intention, just as real roots do, in search of steadiness, of nourishment, of home. Nothing here is loud. Nothing rushes. This tree was built with patience, the way real trees grow. If you try making one, let yourself choose elements slowly. Let your hands wander through a basket of twigs until one feels right, sturdy, but with gentle curves. Pick pebbles that sit comfortably in your palm, that speak to each other in tone and shape. Uneven edges and tiny imperfections are welcome. They are what make nature believable. A shadow box gives depth, a simple wooden frame brings grounding warmth, and a touch of moss at the base softens the line between the tree and the world it rests in. Moss is optional, yet it adds a tenderness, a hint of forest floor, a whisper of dew and quiet mornings. When arranging the branches, twist them gently, as though you're guiding something alive. The structure doesn't need to be perfect. Trees rarely are. They lean. They stretch. They remember wind. If you're placing this near a window, morning light is a gift. Notice how it catches the smooth stone surfaces, how it throws delicate shadows behind the twigs. This play of light brings motion to a still object. It makes the tree appear to breathe. And when you hang it among living plants, tiny succulents, trailing ivy, sprigs of thyme, the whole scene becomes a small garden tucked indoors. It feels like a place where things grow quietly, both in soil and in spirit. Perhaps that's why this project resonates. It's a tree, yes, but it's also a reminder that even the simplest elements, stone, wood, moss, can become something meaningful when we give them time and touch. That roots don't always sit in earth. Sometimes they rest in craft, in intention, in the corners we create with love. So take your time. Shape each branch. Place each pebble. Let the light find it. And when you step back, you may notice something gentle unfolding, not only in the artwork, but in yourself. Because to build a tree like this is to practice quiet growth. And quiet growth tends to linger long after the glue has dried. Four, hanging pebble pot tree branch. Some creations feel like a breath of fresh air drifting indoors. You walk into a room and the eye lifts naturally, following something light, suspended, alive. And suddenly, the space feels awake in a gentle way. Here, a simple fallen branch becomes a small hanging garden. Not loud or extravagant, but humble and poetic. Tiny pots wrapped in pebbles and mosaic sway from braided jute, each holding a little world of green. String of pearls tumbling like trailing jewels. Young vines reaching for light. Plump succulents sitting proud and calm, as if they've always belonged there. It is the kind of project that looks enchanting, yet remains grounded in touchable nature. Nothing is forced. Nothing feels artificial. You can almost hear the soft creak of twine when the air shifts. To create something like this, take your time choosing your branch. Driftwood carries stories of water and wind. Barked branches feel woodland soft and warm. Anything sturdy and balanced will do, so long as it feels right in your hands. And when you tie the rope, tie it with intention, not just to hold weight, but to honor the material. The pots themselves are little sculptures. Pebbles placed by hand around a form, or tiny tiles pieced like a mosaic. Let each stone sit naturally in its place. Don't rush. There's joy in the slow press of glue, the rhythm of arranging, the quiet building of texture. Light plays a big role here. Position your hanging garden near a window where morning sun drapes softly across the leaves. Watch how the plants catch the light differently. Round pearls shining like beads, succulents glowing at their edges, shadows trailing gently along the wall. It feels like the kind of magic nature gives freely when we give it space. For the plants, choose varieties that thrive in hanging form. Stringer pearls and trailing sedums are forgiving and elegant. Mix in a fern or two for softness. Water sparingly, these tiny roots prefer breathing space. Over time, you'll see them settle in, growing longer and fuller, shaping the sculpture themselves. Hang the installation low enough that you can admire it close up. Let it become part of your day, a moment of green above your desk, near your kitchen sink, beside a reading chair. Anywhere quiet enough that this gentle design can whisper instead of shout. The beauty of this idea isn't just in how it looks. It's in how it feels. Earth held by rope. Stone wrapped around life. Light dancing through leaves. A branch given new purpose instead of being forgotten. Sometimes, the most peaceful corners in a home are built from the simplest things. A fallen limb, a handful of pebbles, a bit of twine, and a feeling that nature is welcome here. Create something like this, and you don't just decorate. You invite calm to take root and hang softly in the sunlight. Five, pebble mandala light art frame. There's something deeply comforting about light that doesn't try to overpower a room, but instead warms it quietly. The kind of glow that feels like sunrise slipping through curtains. Soft, steady, familiar. Here, smooth river stones rest in a perfect mandala, each one placed with care, each curve and color chosen with patience. Behind them, a gentle halo of light breathes life into the pattern. Not a harsh beam, but a warm radiance that feels almost like candlelight, a small sun held safely indoors. The frame itself tells a different story. Raw branches, bark intact, formed into a shape that feels both wild and welcoming. Wood that once lived outdoors now holds space on the wall, grounding the light in something ancient and honest. Small succulents settle at the base, held by a bed of moss, as though this creation grew there over time, like nature built it first and we discovered it later. Crafting a piece like this is less about precision and more about presence. Choose stones that speak to you, varied in shape, soft to touch. Pebbles that remember rivers. Twigs that remember wind. Let the symmetry arrive naturally rather than forcing perfection. Nature rarely aims for exactness, and that's what makes it beautiful. When placing the light, think of warmth, not brightness. Diffused LEDs or a soft strip hidden behind the stone layer works beautifully. Test the glow at dusk, that's when you'll feel its true character. If it makes the room feel peaceful, you've done it right. Moss and tiny plants at the base add a living element, bridging earth and light. But even artificial moss can evoke the woodland calm if cared for thoughtfully. A few round stones tucked in between can echo the mandala above, tying the whole scene into one gentle rhythm. Where you hang this matters too. Near a window where morning gold touches it. Above a shelf filled with herbs and little pots. Or in a quiet corner where you sit with tea and let the day slow down. This kind of decor doesn't demand attention. It invites it. Quietly. Patiently. Like a small circle of peace offered to your home. If you decide to make one yourself, take your time. Let your materials settle in your hands. Let the light settle in the stones. Allow stillness to guide you instead of speed. And when you step back, when the glow begins, and shadows gently fall behind each pebble, you might feel it. A reminder that beauty doesn't need to shout. Sometimes it's just a whisper of moss, a circle of stones, and a warm light waiting in the evening. A reminder that someone made this with feeling. And that you, too, can bring warmth to a space with your own hands, one pebble at a time. Six, rustic pebble forest chandelier. Evenings have a different rhythm in a home that honors nature. The air quiets, shadows soften, and light becomes not just brightness, but atmosphere. Look here, instead of a polished chandelier, branches gather in a gentle nest above the table. Twigs curl and cross, bound together with rope the way one might tie bundles of firewood. Between them, warm lights glow like tiny fireflies resting after a long flight. And from the edges, smooth pebbles hang like drops of forest dew caught in twilight. It feels almost like dining under a woodland canopy, yet you never left your kitchen. Creating something like this isn't about perfection or symmetry. It's about presence. Choose branches that feel honest, pieces that still carry the memory of bark, the curve of growth, the quiet stubbornness of trees. Let them overlap naturally. Let the shape find itself. Twine and rope give strength, and fairy lights add warmth without stealing the soul of the piece. Aim for softness, not glare. Lights should hug the wood, nest inside the natural form, not overwhelm it. And when the glow touches the table, the room shifts, dinner becomes a ceremony, conversations linger just a little longer, and quiet feels like company. Those pebbles? They ground the piece. Stone is the slow language of the earth. Add them one by one, letting each strand fall differently. No two should match. In nature, repetition exists, but never clones. Allow organic variation. A slightly longer hanging here, a chunkier stone there. Wrap them with wire or natural twine, trusting the material. If you hang it above a dining table or kitchen bench, give it room to breathe. Let air move around it so shadows can dance, and light can drift outward instead of down in a hard cone. And if there are herbs nearby, terracotta pots with thyme, basil, mint, their green will soften the wood and echo the natural story overhead. Safety matters, too. Make sure your branches are secure, and if you wire lights, keep them cool and well-spaced. The beauty of this piece lies in calm confidence, a handcrafted object that feels steady and alive at the same time. When night comes, sit beneath it. Turn off every harsh light. Let this gentle forest lantern be enough. You may find that meals taste slower. Voices lower. The room exhales. Because sometimes the most enchanting thing we can bring into a home isn't luxury or shine, but the feeling of being close to earth and fire and evening air, right at our own table. Seven, stone dragonfly wall panel. There is a kind of quiet magic that appears when ordinary materials begin to tell a story. In a sunny corner of the home, where morning light drifts in softly and herbs sit patiently in terracotta pots, stones and twigs come together to become dragonflies. Not painted, not printed, just shaped, placed, and allowed to speak. Each pebble holds a memory of water and riverbeds. Each twig once swayed in wind. And now, arranged carefully on wood or smooth board, they suggest movement. Wings ready to lift. Bodies balanced lightly on branches. As if they might flutter away the moment you turn your head. Dragonflies are such gentle symbols. Transformation. Summer stillness. The brief shimmer of life over a pond. Here, they bring that feeling indoors. A reminder that beauty doesn't always need color or polish, sometimes it arrives through texture and shadow. This kind of art is wonderfully simple to create. Wander outside and look for smooth stones, ones that feel good in your hand, that echo the shapes of wings and bodies. Twigs with little bends and natural elegance make perfect perches. Tiny clumps of moss, whether preserved or real, add softness and a sense of place. The key is not to rush. Lay everything out first. Adjust angles, overlap slightly, notice how light falls across the surface. Think about rhythm, one dragonfly soaring, another resting, the third just lifting off. Let your arrangement breathe. Empty space is part of the story, too. Attach each element slowly, with a glue that dries clear and doesn't overpower the natural textures. If you're using reclaimed wood, leave the imperfections, knots, grain lines, small weathered cracks. These details ground the scene in reality. Place your finished piece where sunlight can touch it. Morning light will warm the stones. Evening light will stretch long shadows that mimic flight. And nearby, a few pots of basil, mint, or tiny succulents deepen the illusion that this artwork belongs in a garden, A small window into the world just outside. What you create here isn't just decoration. It's a small moment of nature held still. A pause in the day. A gentle breath on the wall. And when someone notices it, maybe while pouring morning tea, they might smile without even knowing why. Because in that moment, pebbles stop being pebbles, and twigs stop being twigs. They become a memory of summer, of sunlight on water, of wings skimming air. A reminder that beauty is often small, quiet, and handmade, and always waiting to be seen. Eight, rustic living mosaic wall. There is a kind of peace that only arrives when nature steps quietly into your home. Not through grand gestures, but through texture, softness, and the familiar shapes of the earth brought together by your hands. In these living mosaic walls, branches rise like slender forest trunks, grounding the room in stillness. Between them, pebbles are arranged not in rigid patterns but in gentle, flowing lines, echoing riverbeds and wind-carved sand. Their shapes don't try to impress. They whisper. And in the quiet, you feel the calm that comes when beauty is allowed to stay simple. Look closely and you'll see tiny pockets of life tucked among the wood and stone. Little pots holding ivy, pothoes, herbs, small succulents. They don't compete with the design, they soften it, breathing movement into every curve of the mosaic. A leaf stretching toward the window. A vine exploring the bark. Life taking its time. Projects like these are not really about pebbles or branches or clay pots. They're about patience. About giving yourself permission to create slowly. To search for the right smooth stone on a morning walk. To gather fallen branches instead of rushing to buy materials. To let your design unfold the way nature does. Layer by layer, never in a hurry. If you decide to try this at home, begin with the feeling you want the space to hold. Do you want quiet and simplicity? Choose gentle curves, soft moss accents, single vines trailing like forest threads. Craving energy and growth? Let the patterns swirl boldly, allow herbs to spill from tiny planters, and leave room for green to climb and explore. And remember, small imperfections are not flaws. They are fingerprints of real craft, proof that this piece was born from your hands, not a factory line. A tip that makes all the difference. Before gluing pebbles, arrange them loosely first. Let the stones find their place naturally, the way they would in a river. You'll see how each shape speaks to the one beside it. And always use lightweight indoor-safe glue and secure your branches well if they are vertical. Good support keeps the magic safe. Lighting matters too. Place your piece where morning or evening light can graze the textures. Pebbles love soft shadows. Bark loves warm highlights. Plants glow when sunlight brushes their edges. Sometimes a simple window becomes the perfect frame. What happens then is more than decoration. The room begins to breathe with you. Every time you walk past, you're reminded of forests you've wandered, stones you've turned over in your palm, tiny leaves you've watched unfurl in spring. It becomes a little sanctuary in the middle of everyday life. And maybe, just maybe, someone else will walk into your home, pause, and feel that same quiet sense of wonder. They might ask how you made it, expecting a complicated secret. But the truth is beautifully humble. A handful of stones, gathered wood, plants that enjoy your window light, and time spent crafting something with care. That's the magic. Not perfection. Not expense. Just nature, patience, and your imagination working together to build a place where calm comes to rest. 9. Spiral branch fairy tower garden. There is a quiet kind of magic in the objects we build by hand. Not the loud, glittering kind you see in storybooks, but a gentle enchantment born from patience, humble materials, and a wish to bring a little more life into our homes. This spiral branch tower feels like something discovered in the corner of a cottage belonging to someone who knows the rhythms of wood and moss. Branches curve upward naturally, as though they remembered the shape of the trees they once belonged to. Terracotta pots nestle against them, each cup holding succulents and soft trailing ivy that spill over like tiny waterfalls of green. Between each winding layer sits real moss, glowing as sunlight touches it. There is a lesson here. When you give plants a place to climb and twist, they tell their own story. To create something like this, begin by choosing branches with character. Let them curve and bend. That natural shape is what makes the tower feel alive. Then wrap them with rope or twine where they meet, not to hide imperfections, but to honor them. Tuck moss gently around the edges and leave small pockets for pots. Terracotta works beautifully because the warmth of the clay blends with the earthiness of wood. Once it stands on your table or near a sunny window, watch how the light brushes across each leaf. Morning sun brings softness, evening gives everything a bronze glow. Take your time placing each plant. Mix textures, plump succulents, feathery ferns, vines that want to wander. That contrast keeps the eye traveling upward in a slow, satisfying spiral. If you grow herbs, basil and rosemary add a lovely scent. If you prefer calm greenery, jade, aloe, stringer pearls, and ivy transform it into a tiny indoor woodland. And don't forget a little moss at the base. It makes the structure feel rooted, almost like it's growing from the table itself. The beauty of this tower is that there are no straight lines, no strict rules. It invites you to follow nature's curves, to build something imperfect and alive. And when someone sees it in your home and asks where you bought it, there's a quiet joy in saying you made it with your own hands. That's the charm of projects like this. They remind us that wonderful things don't always come from stores. Sometimes they grow from branches, soil, and a slow afternoon spent imagining how to bring a little fairy garden wonder into the real world. Take your time. Build slowly. Let nature guide you. And enjoy the peace that settles in the room when you bring living design to life. Rustic firewood stone wall. When the world feels busy and loud, there is poetry in the simplest materials. Wood, stone, sunshine, and a slow afternoon spent stacking and arranging. Sometimes beauty doesn't need to be purchased. Sometimes it can be gathered, shaped, and placed with intention. This rustic firewood stone wall is not just storage, it is a conversation between nature and the hands that honor it. Look at the rhythm, round logs stacked like musical notes, smooth river pebbles arranged in calm flowing patterns, branches forming gentle arches like the entrance to a woodland chapel. Warm evening light brushes across the wood grain and makes each pebble glow softly, as if the stones themselves remember the warmth of riverbeds and sunlit streams. What makes this idea charming is not perfection, but harmony. The logs do not match exactly, the stones vary in size and tone, and that is the secret. Life is found in texture, in the surprise of shapes, in the gentle irregularity that reminds us nature never repeats herself. To build something like this at home, begin slowly. Choose firewood pieces with varied cuts and tones, stacking them tightly so they form natural patterns. Let your hands move instinctively. Between sections, fill openings with smooth stones, arranging them like puzzle pieces. Think of water when you place them. Flowing lines, soft waves, gentle clusters. That flow brings calmness to the structure, a visual breath. A wall like this welcomes herbs too. Terracotta pots of rosemary and thyme rest against it, offering fragrance and life. The contrast of green leaves, silver-gray pebbles, and golden wood is soothing, like a country morning in early summer. You can tuck moss between gaps for softness, or let ivy climb slowly across the frame. Over time, this wall won't just store logs, it will grow into the garden itself. And the beauty is, there are no strict rules here. Use what you have. Stack, pause, step back, adjust. Let instinct and curiosity guide you, the same way nature shapes riverbanks and forest paths. One day, someone might walk into your garden, brush their fingertips across the bark, and ask where you found such a thing. You'll smile, and tell them it wasn't found, it was made. Piece by piece, like a quiet meditation. A wall like this doesn't simply warm a home with firewood. It warms the spirit with the gentle art of thoughtful making. And sometimes, that is the most beautiful warmth of all. And that's the beauty of rustic design. Not perfect, not polished, but alive. Logs stacked with intention, pebbles placed like quiet poetry, and a wall that feels like it belongs to the earth. If this inspired you, imagine what else we can create together. Like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Tell me which style you try first, or ask how to adapt it to your space. Your ideas matter here. See you in the next garden chapter.